Welcome to the Excel in BI fortnightly webinars. Here you will learn practical techniques to make business impact with data. If you want to register for future webinars, go to our website, excelinbi.com. Thanks you for joining.
Hello everyone, welcome to one more session of the Insights Bootcamp. This session happens every 2 weeks. So those are free sessions that I help people to understand more about insights and how to create business impact within data. My name is Ramon Zamorano. I am originally from Chile and I've been working in the data world for the last 4 years. And I've been finding a great opportunity how we can support business within this data analysis. So the thing that I want to refresh your memory is to what are the cores from business insights? And this is the way how I see it. The core of this business insight is connect with the business. I think this is one of the most important part. As I've been mentioned in previous webinars, it's really important for you to have data skills, but I think to be able to get the most from your data skills is to be able to connect within the business and to be able to understand the process, how you can really help them to make changes to increase profit, to increase operational success, and also reduce costs, which is one of the most important things that happen in the business. So in the first step, when we connect with data, we understand which data is available. For example, if they are using a CRM or ERP, this is the most important part at the beginning because from there we'll be able to answer different type of questions. Doesn't mean that you need to know all the data sources in one go, but at least you should be able to understand which kind of ads tool that they're using for marketing, which kind of CRM they're using to manage the customer relationship, or which kind of ERP they're using to provide invoices for customers. This is the first part, and this is why from where we can connect. The second part is organize. Once we know the data sources that we have, probably we'll receive many Excel sheets. CSV will be able to connect to databases, be able to connect by API to different sort of systems. But here's our job to start to organize this data. Doesn't mean that you need to do everything in one go, means that you need to put it in a certain way that you will be able to see the whole picture of the company. So on this step, I think that organizing the data will allow us to clean, transform, and structure it in an easy way that we'll be able to do the analysis. All right. And the third step is to reflect on what we have discovered. So we understood the business, we organize the data, and we connect to different type of data. And now it's the time to have all this information in front of us and start to reflect in which kind of things we will be able to answer for the business. So we'll be able to understand certain patterns. And of course, this is a skill that it will take you a bit to understand, and also it will take you a bit of practices to get the process much faster. But with a lot of experience, you will be able to see insights just on as soon as you open a spreadsheet, you will be able to see insights. But having those three elements, it will allow us to create an execution of a strategy on what we'll be doing with the data. So having this core concept to create business impact and create business insights, it will help us to have an organized way to approach the problem of data analytics. So connect with the data, organize the information that you have, reflect on what you have seen, and create a plan to create an insights or a way how the business will benefit with all you have discovered. So if we put this in a quadrant, it will look something like this. In this part, we have the connect. Here we have organize, reflect, and execute. So when you are doing an analysis to create business insights, I would recommend you to go through those process. So firstly, I normally will write it down, what I have seen in the business, what is the type of business that they do, how many employees they have, what are the processes to really try to understand and connect with the business. Then when I move to organize the data is to, once I've been able to pull all this information, I will start to put in a customer table, in a sales table, in a staff table, and in that way it will start to put everything in different blocks. When I have all this information from the company, I will be able to reflect and I start to, to be fair, in this process is one of that it takes longer to me. And this is what I think that we can provide most value. So with a proper reflection, we'll be able to see actually what the people is looking for or what is the main pain from the stakeholders or the business areas that you're trying to help. And of course, this is one of the most important part, because if we just get stuck in the reflection, we won't be able to create a really plan for the company to start to make changes. So if we just ended up here in the reflection and we don't create a proper insights that it will drive the business to make changes, we are pretty much losing the 3 steps that we have just done yet. So create a proper execution plan, how the business will be able to implement the changes that you're proposing, and you will create a success. So in this webinar today, I will be putting a case for you. In that way, we'll be understanding how the business is doing and how we could help using those 4 elements. So we will be sharing a link to download the sample data. But before of that, I would like to invite you, leave the door open for if you want to understand more of creating impact for business. I ran a 4 weeks bootcamp that is it will be launched in July the 31st. So from then you will be access to 8 hours of structured learning for you to be able to go through all those 4 elements and processes. Here we'll be reviewing what is data analytics, how to work with data visualization, problem solving skill, data transformation, and build your pathway in your career from where you are now at the moment and from where you will be getting in the amount of time that you're expecting to be working in data analytics. So in week 4, there are 4 weeks, and this course is open for you for 4 weeks, which means that for week 1 you have certain amount of information to see and certain videos to watch, and the second week you will be able to access to another module, and the same way in week 3 and week 4. But the most important thing on this, that apart from the record videos, you will have access to 1-hour session when we'll be able to answer your questions that you'll be having during the course. And also you will have the door open to connect me directly or someone from my team to be able to support you in your learning journey. So you won't be by yourself. With 1 live sessions every week, I hope I can bring the best value for you to answer all your questions during this course. And this is the step. You purchase the course and then you will get an email confirmation about how to log in into the portal. And then from then you will be able to start. So if you want to have more information about this, I will be sending you an email after this session. And from there you will be able to see more.
Now it is time to jump into the practical experience, where we review an example of data analysis for a business case. I will leave you with Ramon.
We'll be connecting with the data. And this is what we have received, all right? So we connect with the business and they've been able to provide us this information. And from here, we'll need to start to create insights for them. But if you can see, it's a real sample data that is not telling us much. But here I can tell right away that this company, it sells products across New Zealand, different cities from New Zealand. And the data here is from June 2023. And I will just click here in data. It's from June 2023 in 2024, 2025. So we have 3 years of information from where we will be able to create certain insights. All right, the first thing is to try to understand what is the behavior of the company, how many sales they do for every year. And I think the first thing that I could do is to start with a pivot table. Before to even jump into Power BI, I would like to start with a pivot table. So the first thing that I need to do, I need to select this table and put it in this, select all the table, and then we go to insert. I will be inserting a pivot table, and I will say just create a new sheet, and I will create it there. From there, we create a new pivot table, and now it will be super easy just to drag and drop the fields that I would like to move across. So in the first field, I would like to put in the rows the dates, and here I would like to put in the columns the city, and then I would like to see how the sales are going for each year. And as you can see, this number is showing me in just number. I would like to have it in proper format, so I just will go value field settings and then show value as a number format, and then we go to put it as a currency. Yeah, and this way will be much easy to be seen. Yeah, and as you can see, the city with bigger cells is Tauranga, which is a city here in New Zealand. Those names, if doesn't looks that familiar for you, is because they are from New Zealand. And here you can see this is the city from where we sell more. Okay, but okay, we can see that across 1, 2, 3, 6 city is the main distribution of all the sales. But so far, I think that we're not resolving any question. So we'll be back to the problem. And of course, one of the main problems that the business have is to how we can create more profit. And I think it's a total reasonable question. And so let's help them to create more profit. I will go to the problem statement, because let's think that I have already spoke with the stakeholder, and so I have narrowed down the problem that they have. So a retail company operating across the major cities from New Zealand has been having inconsistent profit despite a stable sales volume. They want to increase their overall profit margin by 15% next year. So if we can see this data, we can see that we have the cost, the price, and the total sales. So with this, we'll be able to see how much profit we are making, as you can see here. And let's check how is the consistency on the profit of each sale. So if we think about profit, I think I will say I would like to see the total profit in percentage. So to be able to create the profit in percentage, I would like to see, I will need to make an Excel formula. But if you remember these 4 elements, firstly is to connect with the business, all right? If we answer this part, the thing that we are saying, like the business is a retail business which sell different kind of products, including food, including, let's see what else, including home and living appliances, beauty, electronics, fashion, groceries, and sport and outdoors equipment. So that is the first part, connecting to the business, understanding slightly what they do. The main problem is profit. So that is the first insights that we have. The element that we're doing now, we just organize the data. We haven't seen much, we just organize the data. Let's say if all this data has been received from a CRM, which is, of course, this is sort of like a dream, because having all this data organized like this is not something that it always happen. So let's think that everything went all right and the organization went really well and we have the data like this. So now for me is to reflect, and I use this pivot table to start to reflect. This is not something that we need to display to the stakeholder or the person that we're doing this service, but is start to giving to us certain insights of how the data is performing. All right, I just defined that Tauranga is one of the biggest sell, how it's the city where we sell most. However, this is not really answering us the profit. So let's jump. I think the one of the things that I would like to understand is which kind of product of which type of category, um, which kind of category is making the most profit in our organization. So instead of to have the total sales, I will remove that, and I will remove the city as well, because I think that the city is not, it won't answer the question that we're looking for. So firstly, I will put in the columns the categories, and here I will put the profit in the values. And as you can see here, number format, let's put it in currency. Okay. So as you can see here we can see that the line of product that it give it to us more profit is the electronics. So I think this is the kind of line that probably we shouldn't focus, because we are saying that in the problem statement, it say that we need to increase a 50% of the profit margin. And so to be able to underline which is the line of products that are doing less profit, we need to do a profit column in percentage of profit. So let's do a percentage calculation. So if this is the total sale divided by the profit divided by the total sales, it give it to us the profit. And now if I put it all across, here we can see that the profits are quite high in terms of the cost that we have and the price that we're selling. Sorry, but this is the amount of units. Yeah, to be enough. And they say they would like to increase the profit by 15%. So I will clean this, create a filter again here, data filter. And as you can see, the profit fluctuate between 20 and 50%. So if we bring this to an average, the average profit is around 37%. However, we cannot know that, so let's put it in the right, calculate in the right way. Let's do this, and then we calculate the average profit. The average profit is 35%. So the goal, it will be increasing this.
Stop sharing your screen.
I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry.
No, it just stopped.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Hopefully it hasn't been that long. I hasn't been sharing. Okay. So if we are aiming to increase the profit by 15%, means that we need to increase an average profit to 50%. So this is the average. I just create a formula to calculate the average and a formula to create the percentage of profit, which is this one divided by this one. And then I've been able to get what is the average profit for each sale. And I can see it's 35%. So if we are aiming to increase it by 15%, we should be around 50%. So far, is making sense what I'm sharing to you, Mandy and Mo?
Yeah.
All right. It could be simplistic in terms if you have been working for a while in data visualization and data analysis, but the thing that I have seen a lot in the industry is that we lose the connection between the business, and this is to try to get the pain point for the business, and the pain point here is 50% of profit increase, and that is only what it should matter for us, because we have seen that something we focus quite a lot on the tables that we have, something we focus a lot on the type of data that we have, And sometimes we focus a lot in the type of technology that we have enabled to do analysis. So focusing in the business, it will bring it to us more funding for our projects, and it will bring us more recognition in the job that we do, which is super important if you would like to do something really meaningful at work. So now I will need to create another pivot table because the previous one wasn't included in this column. So I will create going to data and then going to insert, pivot table, and then include this one. And now I have a new one. So if I put the category on the rows, the category on the columns, and if I put the cells, the time, the date, here, and then if we put the percentage of profit, here we can see that instead of sum, I would like to do an average. So I go here and I just select average, and this is percentage. All right. As you can see, there is the average that we can see much, but if we start to drill down, we can see that all the products are performing in a similar way. And here we can see, instead of the date, I would like to put remove this, and I would like to put the products. All right. As you can see, all of the products are performing quite similar, which means that probably the company has a real good pricing strategy, but sometimes will look super different. Sometimes this will look like one could be 30% and the other one could be 50%. But if we would like to just to put them in perspective, I think they're super close to 35%. So I think that we don't need to do much with the profit percentage. And I think that we need to, instead of that, focus on how we'll be increasing the pricing. And now within this, we're going to start to create certain insights we just have seen here to the stakeholder. So let's open Power BI. If you haven't used previously, Power BI is fine, but I will show you one quick way how we can start to create insights from this. I will be connected to an Excel file, which is the CSV file that I just provided you. Going here and then going to import the data. It says that the file is in use, so it's not allowing me to use it. I'll close this. That's one thing with with Power BI, the file needs to be closed to be able to import it. So I'm just importing it now. Yeah, as I say before, the data looks pretty clean for me. There are cases that the data is not that clean. So that is one of the challenges sometimes, but it's not in this case. I'll have import all the loads. And now let's start insert text boxes. And let's start with our first visualization that will be remove files. All right. I haven't some files previously. I haven't said that it was why the message coming from. I will do a profit analysis for Acme company. All right. And in this profit analysis, because probably we could give for granted that the business really know where's the average profit, but sometimes it's not that clear because they've been running different processes. And however, from the software that they use, sometimes they doesn't have a clear way to see it. So it will be good for them to present how the profit is working for their company. So I will add in a table here. And this works similar to a pivot table, and I will be using, instead of a table, I will be using a matrix, and I will be putting in the rows the date, and I will be using just the quarter and the month. So now in the columns, I will be putting the products, and in the values, I will be putting the profit value. And I want, instead of to do a sum, I would like to do an average. And the values show me, because I add the profit, not in percentage, I put the profit in, as you can see, in here, I need to put the percentage of profit. I put the profit, so that is why I was showing me those big numbers. I will remove that, and I will put the profit percentage. And I need to do it average again. Average, and this is showing me like this because it's not in percentage. And in the way to show it, I just select this, and I click here, percentage button. And now it looks much better. This is the first thing that we could do to our stakeholders, to show them how the profit is been performing. And also, if we would like to give them a more drill down, we could create a line graph that it could show how the profit has been performing within the time. So I will put in the X axis the date, we'll put the month and the year, and then here I will be putting the percentage of profit. And this is, this is what there is a inflection because I'm doing a sum, but this should be an average. All right. Here we can see that it has been, as you can see here, we couldn't see much with those numbers, but here we can see our decrease on the profit in the last year. All right. So if it's instead of to seeing the year, we would like to see the months, we could create here, instead of to put as a hierarchy, we could put as a date. And here we can see that there is no a consistency line within the profit. As you can see, the profit fluctuates a lot, which means that it could be possibly a discount rule within the business that is creating all this noise. I think that to have a sustainable profit, it should be limited and around an average of 10% of variation. So this is quite a bit to do. So in this picture, we will be able to show to the business firstly how the profit fluctuates, and having another view, we could present them, because as you can see, all those numbers are quite hard to read. So we could present it, instead of to present it by each product, we could present it by a category. And here it's much easy to understand. All right. And now the other thing that I like to do if we're giving to them an insight, an overview, is to create a text. And here we create a verbalization of what we are seeing so far. Here we can see that the average profit percentage for the company is, and this is a cool way that you can do with Power BI. You just go here into value, and I add the average percentage of profit. And if I just do this in natural language, it will bring me a value. All right. I don't know if you have seen this function before, but it will help us to create a proper text, which will be vary depending. For example, if I select 2025, that number will change. And if I select 2023, that number will change depending of the filter that I'm doing. Here we can sorry, let me put in a better way. In this analysis, we can see the average profit for the company. Company is where the product with bigger average profit is, and the product with less profit is. So if we go here, we're looking for the product with less profit. So we can go here. What is the product with less profit, percentage of profit, and then we can see, sorry, I put the less, I should put instead the highest. So I will just take this one and I'll move it to less with the bigger. All right, and it's showing me the bed as well. And the reason why it's showing me the bed is because probably sometimes Power BI doesn't understand those questions quite properly, but we can help Power BI to support. So if we do create a new DAX calculation, which is the way how Power BI create the formula, and let's put a product with highest profit equal to max profit I will put average I like to put an average of profit. All right, and then having that, I would like to find the max profit, and the scalar is profit. Product average. Let's check the average profit first, and let's do it by chunks. All right. We'll create a table to validate of what I'm doing. But before to go on that, I would like to check with you if what I have been explaining so far is clear, what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. As you can see, I don't know if you have much experience in Power BI, but the thing with Power BI, I don't want you to be expert in Power BI. I would like to use Power BI as a tool to be able to create our goal, which is create the increase of the profit percentage. So within this that we are creating here is we are trying to give the business tools to turn the strategy to create more profit. So Power BI, even though that does a lot in terms of data visualization, but we are focusing to aim the goal, which is how we can make the Power BI as a great tool to be able to address our business problem. So here we've been able to take a really quick snapshot of what is going on. And now we see and we know that we need to start to increase the profit by 15%. What the company can see here and what it will be the conclusion from me from this analysis is like I can see there is a huge fluctuation between the products, and putting the product here as a slicer or as a filter, I just drag and drop it there, and I will put the field as a filter. I just want to show and present to the company like this is the first analysis, and I won't be able to go that deeper on the first slide, but this is what I would like to show them. It's like, as you can see in your company, it has been a big variation in the profit. So the profit variation is more than of the 10%. And so for that, it will be something that it will take my attention. The first thing before to even increase the profit, it will be, as the strategy for me, it will to start to bring this profit with a variation is less than 10%. That will be the first recommendation that I will do with the business. And so we need to start to identify which are the products that has more variation and which are the products that are more stable. So the other thing that I would like to show to them is that in the last year, it has been decreased on the profit. Normally those kind of events happen because it has been a more challenge in the market, for example. Yeah, this is what I would like to show them because in 2023 they have nearly 35% of profit, but they have been increased by 10 points. So I would like to show them how we can start to create a strategy to put this aligned with 30%, 35%, because as you can see here, those lower numbers are nearly 27%. So if I can bring it closer to 30%, it will be great. And as you can see, by this date, the products that we have sold, if we would like to see in the data which products we have sold in that time, I will just create a new table here as a support table, and I will put the date. I will put the date as a date value, not as a hierarchy, and I would like to put the products. All right. So if I go to this special event, I just click here, I will be able to see what it happened in that specific date. So I just want to go here. And if you can see by the 10th of February, I just hold my mouse, 10th of February 2024, those are the kind of products that we sell. And the percentage of profit for those are here. Oh, sorry, I put in the wrong. I just want to put it here. Average. All right. So you can see that in that day, the profit was around 27%, and the product with lower average profit was sneakers. So it's a work for us to be working those three elements. And this is from where I will start my strategy, is try to find what are the products with lower profits on average. And if starting from this specific date, or if I go to this other one, which is as you can see here in this other day, which is the 12th of December, those are the products with lowest profit. So as you can see, and I'm being able to represent here, is like doing the 4 elements of data analysis, the core element for business insights: to connect with data, organize it, reflect on the data, and present it to the stakeholders with the exporting of insights. We have been able to understand and take a snapshot from the business. As you can see, we just done it in less than 30 minutes. Probably a data visualization project can take months. However, I just want to show you how easy it is nowadays to take a snapshot of what is going on with the company and the business.
We hope you enjoyed this session and you have learned a bit more on the impact we can create with data. If you want to see more of this, go to our website, excelinbi.com. Thanks for joining.